Now we're here with our CEO, Lorna Dueck. Welcome, Lorna. It's great to have you back.
I love being with you on the show.
You were on a road trip visiting some of our viewers out west.
It just takes a little push to get me to go back to Winkler, Manitoba, and that beautiful, I spent so many years in that area. And of course, they were setting a Guinness World Book of Records just the past weekend. And this is Harvest for Kids. It is amazing. Now, Maggie, I got to show you this. This is 300 combines.
Wow.
I know we don't have them right around the studio area, but 300 combines. Those of us who have roots in the West would call this poetry in motion. It's beautiful. Now, look at this. Isn't that, like, just watch that. 300 golden fields.
Explain to the city kids like myself who don't regularly see this. What are we seeing? What is this poetry in motion that we're seeing, Lorna?
This is your breakfast bread. This is your breakfast cereal getting gathered from the fields. So none of the grain goes into the cereal box or into the bread loaf without getting cut down by a combine. And so those little forks at the front, that's the header, and it's cutting it down. It's cutting it down. But the poetry here is we're doing 300 farmers all going together, all taking their own strip of it, setting a Guinness World Book of Record for speed and size here. And then so that grain is going up through that hopper there into that back of that big, beautiful red or green or whatever color you got there. And it really matters to some people what color you have. We won't have that discussion right now. And then off it goes to the truck and to market, and you feed it to the boys.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just, it's a beautiful sight of community pulling together here. Now, this is not normally how farmers harvest.
Well,
but they do, everybody's harvesting this time of year right now.
There's an amazing purpose behind this. Explain to me why they're doing this.
Because they want us all talking about the fact that God is interested in the lives of children, and this is a publicity stunt to get us excited about sending children in countries that have far less than we have to Bible camp, to get kids learning about Jesus, learning that Jesus loves them.
That's amazing. So we're going to see some clips from what you brought back.
Okay, so on the ground, let me help you meet a few of these great people that are helping Christian Camps International.
All right, let's take a look.
George Clausen is the event coordinator of Harvest for Kids. George, help us understand who is all here helping this happen.
We have well over 600 volunteers that have come to help from basically every background, but specifically the combines. As far as I know, we have about 20 different churches just in Winkler by itself. We have a number of 100 colonies and different faith-based communities around this area.
Down overalls and an AM radio, try to get it right the first time and take it slow.
We've been affiliated with Harvest for Kids for quite a few years. We went out to India after the first world record harvest. We shot a video with them called On the Combine, and thankfully we were able to go to India and play the song for I think 5,000 kids going to camp out there. And it's so cool to be back here breaking that record again.
Just tell us a little bit about On the Combine, Curtis. Why does that song work so well at this thing?
Well, I mean, it's called Harvest for Kids, and we grew up on a farm, and we love, you know, how we were raised, riding the combines and harvesting every year, and it's super cool, the video that we did. Like, the footage of the world record is actually in our On the Combine music video. You've been to India, you're one of the few here who have. What's going on in the kids' hearts?
What we see is there's a lot of the caste system where people feel like they need to separate themselves from the poor for religious reasons. In the afterlife, they're taught that the better you look on this earth compared to the poorer people, the better your future essentially will be, which is pretty sad. So a lot of really poor people get left alone and untouched, and we saw some pretty sad situations in India, but thankfully we were there with Harvest for Kids, and nothing sad about that. Everything was about making these kids' eyes light up and giving them the opportunity to go to camp and hear the good news, and we're a very, very small part of it, but we're thrilled with the work they're doing.
Rosemary, why get involved with Camps for Kids?
A few years ago, I went to Belize. I was actually on a cruise, and I had one day, and I actually went to play for some of the kids that they're helping in Belize, and that touched my heart so much, and it's been on my heart ever since to work with Children's Camps International. We went to a government school, and they go in there, and they go every week, and there's follow-up. That's what's the amazing thing, a lot of people don't know, is they have these camps, but then every week they go back and they work with these kids, and they were singing Sunday school songs, and they were praying with the kids, and they were so happy. And it was such an underprivileged area, and to see that just like changes your life, actually. And they had never seen a violin before, and I was playing fiddle for them, and they were just like, what? So it was really cool.
Well, this has been an event that we've been familiar with for a lot of years, but just the concept behind it, I think we are farmers that grew up in Saskatchewan, and so the farming aspect really resonates with us. But the fact of sending 1.7 million kids to camp since 2003, and the desire to see not just the 200,000 that are going this year, that'll be going in the following years, but to raise that number higher, to know the impact that it's making around the world. And we know that those kids are impacting the ones, their friends, and so to be part of this great cause as brothers with good friends that are going to be on the stage tonight, and with all these people that are here, is just a real thrill for us, and we're so excited to be part of such a great event.
I love this. I love it when people think outside the box. And
Way
a
out of the
mom,
box.
like, I know how important camp is, especially for families. And so you were sharing with me 2,500 churches overseas are benefiting from this. Explain that.
Yeah, so what's happened here is that beautiful hub in Winkler there, and realize this is where I went to Bible camp when I was 17. It revolutionized my life. That Winkler Bible Camp thing has exploded into this movement now. It's a separate thing, the Christian Camping International. They still have the Bible camp for Winkler, but Christian Camping International now has relationships with 2,500 churches in countries like India, Cambodia, Kenya, and those leaders were there just watching. Canadians love us, they support us, they want the blessing of Christian teaching in our countries too.
And what was it like for you, being, once a camper, seeing this and seeing this camp pouring into other children?
Maggie, it's amazing what God does with seeds. A few little seeds you planted. I could have never guessed when I was a messed up kid going to camp in Winkler myself that one day I'd be visiting with you on television telling everybody, send more of us to camp, okay? Send more of us to camp. But let me introduce you to somebody now that we interviewed in the field who has exactly that heart.
Okay.
This is the Christian Camps International group that's taken the camping to Fiji and Solomon Islands. Look how very far away that is. Matt and Orapa, you have been 5 years in Fiji. What's happening in kids' hearts with the camps?
We just can see a kid's heart, like when they come, it's like a joyful, like they have joy. Like some of them, they come with the broken families, and when they come to camp, it's totally different for them.
It's an incredible feeling, just giving the opportunity. I grew up in Fiji, not having that opportunity to have my own faith. I'm gonna cry. To having a faith of your own in realizing who Jesus really is, the freedom, the joy, and when I moved here, I see how kids here have that same opportunity. And I knew my moving here is not for myself. It's to take it back home and to spread that joy and that freedom and that opportunity to the children. And in terms, it's a cycle. The kids take it to their parents. And through that, there are churches that are being built. We are now going into a group of people that have never heard of the gospel before, that are still uneducated. When I look at pictures and we're helping out at a school, you see the grade ones coming to school with their own children. And that's the most fulfilling thing.
Wow, I love what you said too, Lorna, about planting seeds. Physically, we're seeing that with the combines, but also spiritually. And I know that Ethan in particular, he's 11 and a half, and how much going to a Christian camp impacted him. I know for me and for you. Yeah. Explain the importance, especially of a day camp with Christian values and being able to transport that overseas.
Well, children are wet cement, has been said, and Jesus is the one who said, let children come to me. This is God's idea, that children get to be taught about Jesus. And our kids, they sort of have it in their DNA, and they lose it if you don't teach them. And it's exactly why Jesus said, come, let the kids come to me. But I think it's best to hear from those who are actually teaching and those who are setting up these hundreds and hundreds of day camps overseas on what they're seeing for transformation in children's lives. Take a listen.
It completely transforms children's lives. I want to just tell a story. A child, a 10-year-old girl, she is considered the lowest caste in the Indian caste system. She came to the camp, and after attending a week of camp, she came and shared with me, and she told me, I am considered the lowest caste in the caste system, but after coming to this camp, I come to know that I am no more low caste. I am the temple of God. God dwells in me. In 15 years, we have seen 1.7 million children gone through camps. So I want to thank this community. Without this support, it is not possible.
Now, George, explain for us what the word picture of the harvest and the seeds is going on here with the children in their hearts.
Some people seed, some people water, and some harvest. We're all called to do what we're called to do. Every job is important. None is more important than the other one. We all need to be faithful in what we do. We are raising funds to plant the seed, and then it's up to some of the other people to do the camping, and then it's to the Lord to do the harvest.
And what do you hope of God grows up in those children?
We are hoping that they will become children that will be responsible, contributing to society when they grow up, and be leaders for Christ's kingdom.
Oh, I know so many of our viewers are going to want to know how they can get involved. Tell us, Lorna.
$5 help send a kid to camp.
$5?
That's it.
Are you
$5
serious?
each. That's it. Yeah, it's a beautiful relationship we have with these 2,500 international churches that Children's Camps International does. So if you want to help send a child to camp internationally, call Children's Camps International 1-204-331-4003. Tell them you saw their story on Huntley Street and you just want to help that great work, that the harvest work, that beautiful competition we saw today at Children's Camps International.
And I love that idea of planting a seed into the next generation. Let's do it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.